Well, I find it a bit funny and laughable that Peter Obi could be saying anybody's after him. I don't see any reason why. I listened to the interview myself, and everything he said, nothing can be substantiated with facts. They are just emotional stories to stimulate some of his social media supporters to reactions.
Good morning, Nigeria, and welcome to Daybreak Live on Dominion Television. Ibadan, I'm Oluwayemi Adelako. Today we examine the headlines, and I'm not alone in the studio. I have with me Olukunle Durodolu, a public affairs analyst, who is going to help me make sense of the headlines this morning. Welcome.
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning.
It's a pleasure to be here.
Right. Okay, we start with Daily Independent this morning, and I have this headline that says that nothing must happen to Peter Obi, verify Atiku warns. I don't know if you saw this video online. I think it was an interview with Chude, and Peter Obi said something that if I'm still alive, that's when I can contest for presidency. And Nigerians were scared. Why would he say such a thing? And then his supporters are here saying that nothing must happen to him.
Well, I find it a bit funny and laughable that Peter Obi could be saying anybody's after him. I don't see any reason why. I listened to the interview myself, and everything he said, nothing can be substantiated with facts. They are just emotional stories to stimulate some of his social media supporters to reactions. I can't see anything serious in what he's saying.
But then some persons made reference to Funsho Williams, that was how he started too. And then so many persons did not take him serious.
Funsho Williams' issue is completely different from Peter Obi's issue. And we should place issues the way they are. Peter Obi said he parked and they changed his car where he parked at the airport. Nobody can substantiate it. That's his own story. Unless he produces evidence or proof to show that he was unjustifiably treated. Me, I don't take him serious. He has made so many allegations that are completely untrue. Many of them has been fact-checked, and they come out to be complete lies. So there is nothing to take serious in Peter Obi.
I think he recently even alleged that the president is here to call the governor of your state. You think that's not true as well?
That the president is here to call
Seyi Makinde over the abduction of these students.
When bomb blast happened in Ibadan, was it not Seyi Makinde that went to Abuja? If Seyi Makinde wants to see the president, he knows the way to Aso Rock. Should Peter Obi be his spokesman? These things are just politics, and I think politicians should begin to get serious and leave things that are completely irrelevant. The issue of whether president called Governor Seyi Makinde or Governor Seyi Makinde called the president, I find it side talks. If there is need for President Tinubu to call Seyi Makinde, they will have their way. They have their way of conversations when they want to talk. So it is not Peter Obi that will be a spokesman to Governor Seyi Makinde. I find it another way of attracting sympathy. The other time when bomb blast in Ibadan and Governor Seyi Makinde needed to collect 30 billion from Abuja, he find his way to Abuja without informing Peter Obi. So what is Peter Obi's issue with that?
Okay, from that, okay, you want to say something?
He should campaign, tell people what he wants to do, instead of anytime they ask him about, here is somebody who has ruled for 8 years in Anambra, and anytime they ask him what he wants to do, he'll be talking about China, Bangladesh. I don't see such a person as a serious person. If you have ruled for 8 years, you should tell people what you did in 8 years. That is what should galvanize people to now support you for presidency. It's not the idea of telling us what happened in Bangladesh, what happened in China. What did you do when you are the governor of Anambra for 8 years? These should be things that we should be talking about, not what is happening in China, what is happening in another country. Those things are irrelevant.
He also mentioned that this administration is trying to frustrate, its businesses and things like that.
The last time I checked, one of the company he has shares in, Fidelity Bank, is doing very well in the market. is doing very well. They are doing business. Fidelity Bank is open, and they are making profits in this country. So how is a federal government trying to frustrate his business? Next is a company that I know of is still open as at this morning. So how is federal government trying to frustrate his business?
Okay, let's take a look at another headline. Still taking headlines from Daily Independent. It's a fine place to leave that discussion. That you don't really see why Peter Obi is doing that. Another headline, the banner headline, actually saying, reps to federal government halt Cameroonian military incursions into Nigeria. Ask federal government to summon South African envoy over killing of Nigerians. Let's start from the Cameroonian and then link it to what is going on in South Africa. Do you think at this point the federal government should be more firm about this matter? Because I remember one of the senators, Adams Oshiomhole, said, let's just nationalize these companies in Nigeria. That will send a signal to South Africa. Now, should we be more firm with Cameroon? Because we don't want the same situation that we're experiencing in South Africa.
We should not allow anybody to violate our territorial integrity in any way. And if anybody is trying to do so, we should let them know that we will not take it from them. Our military should send a message to their military to respect our territorial integrity, and they should not trespass into our country. We should let them know that. And actions should warrant consequences. We should not allow things to go unattended to. It's part of our responsibility as a country to make sure that we attend to every form of violations of our rights as a country. And either Cameroon, either South Africa, we should be firm. I feel we should take a firm stand on South Africa. The way they are killing Nigerians is unacceptable. They have businesses in Nigeria, they are making profits from Nigerian space, and they are repatriating the money to their country, to develop their country. And there are mobs who are rampaging the streets, killing innocent people, dislodging people, destroying their businesses. We should send a message to them that we will no longer take that.
Do you support nationalizing these companies?
It will not be a bad idea if the attacks go unpunished,
but some Nigerians feel it will affect so many. I mean, in terms of jobs, so many will lose their jobs.
They won't lose their jobs. We will nationalize this company does not mean we will stop the company from functioning. We will not allow them to repatriate money to their country again. As long as they cannot, we have bilateral agreement that South Africans can enter Nigeria, Nigerians can enter South Africa. And if suddenly Nigerians now find themselves there and they are now attacking Nigerians, they are saying they don't have papers. How can you travel to South Africa without papers? It's not a country that we share direct border with. So you have to travel to South Africa through plane, which means you enter through the airport. So how can you get there without papers? I find the excuse completely ludicrous. Doesn't make any sense to me. We have papers. That's why we have papers. That's why we can enter their country. If their citizens now suddenly feel that Nigerians should no longer be allowed into, it's not only Nigerians. They are doing the same thing to all the African nationals that are there.
But some think it's more severe for Nigerians.
They are doing the same thing to Zimbabwe. They are doing the same thing to Malawians too. Nigerian case, Zimbabweans, those ones share the same direct border. Those ones can easily retreat and go back to their country. But Nigerians, we have to find a way to get a plane to bring our people. And the way they are killing them, destroying their businesses, should not be taken lightly. It's not an act of cowardice that South Africans, that we help. We fought to get them freedom from their white people that colonized them. We fought for their freedom. We spend our money to get them freed. And today, if you tell them the same story, they will say, we should not talk about it again. As if it didn't happen. I don't expect that a South African today will wake up one morning and begins to treat Nigerians this way.
Okay, do you think it's because the kind of relationship that Obasanjo had with the leaders of South African then, do you think is missing today? That cordial relationship between the leaders of
it's not about relationship. It's about the way their politicians are handling things suddenly. Their president cannot deny that he is not complicit in the attacks they are meeting to Nigerians. He will. The other time he addressed the press conference that he will. They will deal with it. Police will arrest anybody who tries to eject people. Up to now, nobody has been arrested. Many Nigerians has been killed. Nobody has been arrested. And anytime the president will just come and pay lip service, such should not be allowed to go unattended to. And it's about time we send a strong signal to them that this is not how two brotherly nations should treat themselves.
Okay, let's take another headline. And I have this one that says, the federal government to Nigerians, no Ebola cases. The country stays vigilant. They are trying to allay the fears of Nigerians. We don't have Ebola cases.
Yes,
but then people are still scared. I mean, because they saw what Ebola did the first time.
Yes. Anybody have every reason to be afraid, especially for that kind of sicknesses and diseases that can kill people within days. So it's about, it's not about allaying fears alone. It's about making sure that it never happened. Because when it happened, the other time when it happened, we were running helter-skelter to find solutions, and our population is huge. And the way we interact in Nigeria, it may be difficult to control. So it's better we make sure it never happened at all than to be finding a way to curtail it. I will encourage the federal government to put everything in place to make sure that we do not have any issue of Ebola in Nigeria. We should not.
Okay. But people are no longer doing what they used to do before, especially even COVID. I mean, just use your nose mask and then do quite a number of things.
A lot of Nigerians don't like to obey rules. A lot of Nigerians don't like to obey. During COVID, I was at home most of the time. I didn't go out. But a lot of people will be telling me that there is nothing like COVID. And this thing is killing a lot of people. People can see it every day, but they say, no, there is nothing like it. In fact, somebody did not believe until when he lost his uncle in UCH. That was when he started to believe that this thing might be real. So
what about the rules? The rules were there back then. I mean, even for church gatherings, even for hospital, for banks. But then we don't have the rules anymore. So maybe that's why some persons feel.
Well, government should continue to still reiterate and let people be aware that this thing is dangerous. And if we have any outbreak, God forbid, that it will be devastating. It can kill people. And it will kill them in days. And we don't have the facility to manage it effectively. Nobody needs to tell us before we know that. Even Europe, even America, even all the big countries, they are trying to make sure they don't allow anybody that will enter their country, they check them to be sure that nobody with the cases of Ebola enter their country. So Nigeria should not joke with it.
Okay, let's cross to New Telegraph and check the banner headline that says bandits threaten to kill Oyo pupils if troops advance. That's coming from the defense minister. Let me read the writers now. Says weak laws embolden criminal soldiers. Okay, that's another story, but let's talk about this bandit now. So Nigerians are asking, at what point will the government get these people out with one excuse today, another excuse tomorrow?
The issue of bandits, it's a story that is a problem that started many years ago that Nigerians are not paying attention to. I was listening to Sanusi Lamido yesterday when he was talking about poverty in the north. He said 80% poverty is in northwest and northeast. That in southwest here, it's only 20%. He's now asking his people, how did we get here? And the problem is simple. In the north, they have an habit of polygamous marriages. 28% of polygamous marriages is in the north. And these are the problem. these people give birth to children indiscriminately. They don't send them to school. They did not train them. They send them to the streets to be begging. So from the Almajiri, these people now graduate into robbery, banditry, terrorism. So if we want to deal with this issue, we have to arrest the root cause. It's not just to talk about, we can buy all the guns we want in the world, but until we arrest the root cause that is fueling these problems, it will still continue. And now that these people have gotten some people in their custody, they are using them as human shield. You cannot attack them under such conditions. There has to be an agreement one way or the other before they can release it, before they can release those children. And the agreement has to be something that will, that the bandits will agree with. So it's not as simple as people are seeing it.
There was a time we heard about one of their requests. They want, some of their members released.
Yes, they still insist that they want their members released. And that's why I have a problem with governors. Anybody that has been sentenced to death by the courts should be hanged immediately. We need to send a strong message. It's because you are still keeping these people that they could be making requests that people who are still in prison should be released. If they have been killed immediately in the presence of everybody, number one, that will serve as a deterrent to others. Number two, they will not even make a request to it again. Because they've been killed, they will not even ask for their release again. But because you are keeping them, for reasons best known to our governors, I don't know why. People kill people wickedly. They keep them in chains. I've seen some people who are victims of these bandits. And if I have my way today, any bandit that has been sentenced to death should be killed immediately. There's no reason keeping them in the prison. In fact, it is one of the failures of our governors, because they are the one who should sign their death warrants immediately. Why keeping them? What for? Are we keeping them for decoration? These are wicked people that should not be alive.
But we've seen some top military officials come out to say, these people, they are our brothers. Let's just, find a way to rehabilitate them into the army. Or
They are one of the military leaders that was killed in their custody. They should go and tell his family that bandits are his brothers. How can we say somebody, a criminal is your brother? No, bandit is not my brother. I take exception to that. Anybody, in fact, I had listened to the Minister of Defense yesterday when they just acquired the new ammunitions in Sokoto. He was telling the military, he was giving them order that any bandit you see, you don't need to wait for order before you shoot them at sight.
And if you don't shoot?
If you don't shoot, we will treat you as an enemy. So why do you now call somebody a bandit your brother? I have seen victims of kidnappers, and it is not a palatable experience. And I don't wish that any bandit should live a day longer after court has sentenced them to death.
Now my question is time now. These people have been there for like 55 days, and the people are even scared. Are we sure that these people are still alive? So at what point
they should still
would the
be
federal
alive.
government do something?
They should still be alive, because government is having interactions with these people every day. You know, the only people that were released last week, it's only one elderly woman that died, 84-year-old mama that was taken. So the people in Oyotu should still be alive. They should still be alive. We are praying.
We are hoping. We are optimistic about that. Let's take another headline this morning. And I have this one that says, okay, I think it's about El-Rufai now. My husband's bail conditions impossible to meet, says El-Rufai's wife. And I think about 2 days ago, I also read a particular headline that talks about the fact that, he's been denied access to his doctor, to his family members, and now the wife is coming out to say the bail condition is too harsh.
I don't think it's too harsh. They should look for people who can stand shorty. And if they consider it too harsh, let the lawyer tell the judge, so that the judge will review it.
I mean, his politician, or let me say his friends now, they think the government is just trying to witch hunt El-Rufai. There's no basis for this arrest.
El-Rufai used his mouth to say he tapped the phone of National Security Advisor. It's a serious crime. Everybody is aware of that. So if his friends are trying to tell half-truth stories, then I sympathize with them. That is unfortunate.
I think part of the issue is also about, abuse of office and then embezzlement of funds.
Yes, if people have allegations against you and they forward the petitions to EFCC, EFCC will investigate and charge it to court. And that's what they did. And it is now the prerogative of the judge. If they consider the bill too difficult, his lawyers will appeal to the judge that we cannot meet these conditions, and the judge will review it. I don't see anything unusual about that. They should just not politicize the matter. They should deal with it. They know what to do. His lawyers know what to do. So the idea of coming to the media to whip up sentiment is what I find unusual. When El-Rufai was the governor, there are many people he dealt with like that too. So, and when it is now time for him to go through the same process, he should understand that whatever goes around comes around.
He used to be a strong ally of the president. And
they disagree. And he started saying things that were that get him into trouble. And people forwarded the petitions to EFCC on El-Rufai. Are we saying EFCC should not investigate him? Are we saying when the matter involves El-Rufai, it should be left untreated? I don't say anything. At least it is called they charge him to. They didn't charge him to any other places. So if it is court, that is what the law says. They should charge somebody to court, which they have done. And if the judge did not, initially they were saying no, it is government that is deliberately keeping him. But now they are coming out to say it is bail condition they cannot meet. So their stories are changing. What I will advise them to do is, if they consider the bill too stringent, they should approach the judge and tell the judge that this bill condition is too stringent. And it will be reviewed. I've seen that done for so many people. So El-Rufai's own should not be treated. We should not now bring sensations to it and bring it to the media to deceive people. Okay,
we're still on the matter. I want to believe that soon enough they will get to the bottom of this.
Definitely.
Okay, let's take another headline. Still taking headlines from New Telegraph. I have this one that says, Interpol arrests 5,811 Yahoo boys, recovers $293 million in Nigeria and 96 other countries. That's massive.
Massive.
And then, according to EFCC, I think a few times he came out to say this is affecting the economy, it's affecting the safety of even Nigerians. What do you make of this? Because these numbers are huge.
We cannot continue this way. I listened to EFCC chairman the other time. He said about 60% of Nigerian students in universities are now into full-time Yahoo. So we cannot continue destroying our images abroad and expect that people want to do business with our country. In one breath, you say the politicians are not doing well. In another breath, you go about spoiling the image of the country abroad by stealing. We cannot continue that way. We are not the only country that is not that has struggles. Many countries too have struggles, but their citizens still comport themselves. Stealing is not stealing is stealing. It's just because we want to glamorize it and make it look attractive that we call it Yahoo. It is robbery. Nothing short of it. You are stealing somebody else's sweat.
But what is fueling this? Because I remember Yahoo cases, I don't think it was this much.
Yes,
so as we progress.
Yes, it will continue to progress unless we make the punishment more stringent. Yes. I've seen many of the Yahoo boys, when they want to snap their pictures, their mugshot pictures, you see them smiling because they don't see anything wrong in, they don't see anything bad in what they are doing anymore. They don't see anything bad. And it is grievous that our society has now degenerated to this level.
Some are blaming it on the poverty in the nation.
Poverty in the nation is not the reason why you have to steal. There was never a time that Nigeria was, there is no poverty in Nigeria. There was never a time that we did not have poverty in Nigeria. In the 80s, I heard somebody sang a song that Ilu Leo Kosowo Lode. In the 80s, about over 40 years ago. And we've heard so many of such songs that are telling us that back in those days too, things were not profitable. Things were not palatable. But then people who are doing a legitimate business are still doing legitimate businesses, and they are still making their money. I agree there are legitimate concerns, but then that does not warrant that people should be stealing.
Okay, let's cross over to the Nigerian Tribunal. It's a fine place to leave that discussion. I have the banner headline that says, State Police Governors seek fiscal judicial reforms. State policing requires tactical precision, not political emotion. That's coming from ex-CDS Rabo. And then I've listened to some of the governors. They are scared because they think it can be abused in any way. Even some senators, but then I think it was passed by both chambers. But then why do you think certain people are still not comfortable with the state police?
Because we've seen attitudes of our governors in time past, and many of us feel they can still abuse state police if not properly managed. But state police is an issue that we cannot sweep under the carpet. We need to have the governors. Part of the excuses they are giving is that they don't have control over the federal police, and that is what necessitated the discussions on state police. If they have state police, we should put adequate measure in place to make sure that they don't abuse it. Well, we cannot run away from state police now that we have insecurities almost everywhere. We need them to further strengthen the federal police, but the abuse will be dealt with. Because we cannot allow innocent people to be killed indiscriminately the way bandits and wicked people are killing people. We cannot allow that to go unchecked. We have to fortify, create policies that can understand the neighborhoods and the language and the culture of the people. But we cannot, because of that, now say that we will not have state police. I know what states are doing with state electoral commissions. The elections, it is not elections, it is selections. And when you see that, you have to be afraid that they can also turn state police to an instrument of oppression. But then we have to find a way to manage them in a way that governors will not hijack it and turn it to instruments to be chasing political opponents.
Okay.
We have to find a way to manage that.
Okay, I want to believe that those in authority, and someone even, I think, gave an advice to say, let's create another commission entirely that can manage the affairs of state police to ensure that some persons do not abuse it.
Now, it won't be a bad idea, because abuse is inevitable when our governors when they have the right to appoint the commissioner of police. There is tendency that that commissioner of police may be doing their biddings. But we have to, I don't know what I have not seen the comprehensive report of the laws that guides it. So I don't know the checks and balances put in place. But I believe the people who are making these laws, they will fine-tune it in such a way that our governors will not have power to abuse it.
Okay, let's take a look at another headline. I won't betray Nigerian straws. Reform will deliver better future. That's coming from President Tinubu. Says sacrifices laying foundation for future generations. I think I've listened to him, and then one time he said, it's not going to, miracle will not happen in Nigeria. Maybe in 2 years or 3, it takes a long while to actually achieve certain things in Nigeria. And then speaking about his reforms, I think part of his reforms have caused more issues for Nigerians, according to Nigerians, like the removal of fuel subsidies. So now that the president is coming out to say reform will deliver better future, when? That's my question.
I've seen countries who from zero to surplus. And I don't expect that Nigerian case will just be because another president comes in 3 years ago, Nigerian story will change suddenly. If anybody is alluding to such facts, the person should, to such illusions, such a person should just wake up and face reality. When President Tinubu came on board, I observed that our tax last in 2023 was 12 trillion. But after tax reform, it is now 28 trillion. I know that the amount governors were collecting as the money federal government is sharing every month as allocations to states and local governments has tripled because we removed fuel subsidy, and the money now goes to governors and local governments. These things will take time. It's not immediately that the impact of what was started 3 years ago will begin to yield fruits. I've seen so many countries that turn around their economy and their country. Nigeria too, from the foundation I'm seeing so far, we are not far from there. I've seen IMF reports on Nigerian economy. It is not bad. I've seen World Bank reports on Nigerian economy. It's not bad. I've seen S&P report. These are foreign organizations that doesn't play any politics with anybody.
But we have over 140 million people in poverty in this country, according to report.
Well, if we have 140 million, we don't expect that they will be removed immediately.
But the numbers went up, especially in the last 3 years.
Because we removed soil subsidy, and we have to now adjust. We now have to build on what we have started. So Nigerians should not expect that immediately the situation will turn around. It's not that simple. If we don't remove fuel subsidy, if we don't remove the subsidy, about 200 million people have gone into poverty completely. The whole country would have submerged.
But what about the money? I'm talking about the fuel subsidy.
I want people to look at where we are coming from. When President Tinubu took over, 98% of our revenue was used to service debt. So 30 trillion was printed from CBN indiscriminately. And
now we have borrowed more in the last 1 year.
We have not borrowed more.
Really?
Yes, we have not. When we check DMO, Nigerian debt was 108. What happened is, people that were throwing these figures around, they are misinforming people. What they do, when we remove subsidy on forex too, it affects the value of our forex. So what they did is they calculated the differentials. Today now calculated the differentials, and they are now throwing that to people.
But a few months ago, Nigeria borrowed a certain amount, and that's the highest in the history of Nigeria.
I don't think so. I've not seen that amount. When? Where?
A few months back.
Well, I've not seen it. What I know is that Nigeria's debt was 108 when President Tinubu took over, and as at few months ago when I checked, it has reduced to below 100. Which means we pay back part of our debt. If we want to check our debt, we check it in dollar, not in naira. Because by the time you check it in naira, it will change. We've also removed, we've also devalued our currency. So when you now calculate it on the current value, it will now amount to something humongous. It will now seem as if it has changed. It is still, when you check it in dollar, it will still be something with, and even IMF said it last week, that our problem is not debt, that we've not borrowed too much, that what the major problem we have is the revenue.
What about what we are doing with the money we are borrowing? Because you mentioned that the federal government has paid part.
Yes.
So what are we doing with the money that we keep borrowing?
Well, I see road constructions going on in so many state capitals. Everywhere, road construction.
Are you saying the Nigerian government is borrowing to establish roads?
If we don't, number one, if we are not constructing, if we are not improving our infrastructures, our economy will not improve.
Is that not the primary duty of the government?
And that's why, of course, if it is the primary duty of the government will use money to do it. They have to borrow to do it. There is no two way about it. Number one, Nigeria is a country where an average of us don't pay tax. The last time I checked, only about 20% pay taxes in Nigeria. And we want Nigeria to change to a country like UK, to be like Europe, where everybody pay taxes. We want Nigeria to change to America, where everybody pay taxes. I've never seen that before.
How many people can afford to pay taxes in Nigeria?
It's not a matter of whether you can afford. It's a matter of tax. Once you earn certain revenue, there are percentages that should be deducted.
But even the tax system, I think that started last year.
In Europe, it's not everybody that can afford to pay it. They have to pay it.
But it appears that
I have friends in Europe. I have a friend in Europe, in London, in UK. He cannot afford to ride 2 cars. Why? Because if he will be charged. I have a friend who just moved to London. They told her that if you listen to radio, even on your radio, you will pay tax on it.
But can you compare the economy of these countries?
These countries build their economy with taxes. But Nigerians, we don't want to pay tax. And there's another fallacy that Nigerians used to say, that Nigeria is an oil-rich country. It's a lie. Yes, we have oil, but how much of it are we selling? Nigeria sells the highest oil.
Are you not looking at the fact that we have refineries in Nigeria that are moribund? Is that not a factor?
Do we blame the successive government that have mismanaged it? Why don't we ask them what they do with it? I've said it several times that we should privatize these refineries. We cannot, Nigerian government cannot manage anything successfully. So let's privatize it, let private hands handle them.
So it's a systemic problem.
It's a systemic problem. Look at our institutions. Go to hospitals. The facilities are there, but they're not well managed. Go to government hospitals. How many of them, if you go to the wards today, how many of them has water flowing in their wards?
So how come when people are contesting for elections, they write their manifestos? We
don't blame politicians. It is the people in charge of those institutions that we should blame. They should be ashamed of themselves.
So how come the government cannot put in place measures that will curb these things?
I don't expect government to be going to hospitals and be checking those things. It is the responsibility of the people there. If you go to their offices, they have water there. But if you go to the wards, water is not flowing. There was a time I was admitted in university teaching hospital. And where I wanted to use the toilets. They told me there was no water. I don't know why, and I don't think they have now.
How come these people in authority cannot visit? Because I remember the Minister of Interior about a few months back, he visited.
When they know that these people are coming, they will make sure everything is.
I'm not sure these people knew he was coming. Because if you check the video very well, he was asking them questions. How come this is 10 a.m.? You have only registered about 2 persons. What is going on? So how come the others cannot do so?
I'm using this opportunity to encourage our ministers to also do the same thing. Look at the state of education. Look at many schools without roofs. We don't blame them on federal government. It is most of these schools are the babies of states. Or many of these classrooms don't have roofs. They don't have chairs, and we see them every day. But if we privatize it, America sell one of the highest crude in the world, and they are not giving anybody free education. Education is not free. President Barack Obama took student loan to finance his education. So there is nothing wrong. For example, people will say, Nigeria is oil rich. I need to break that bubble today.
What about the scholarship opportunities? Available in the US?
Well, I'm coming to that. Now, some people will say, Nigeria is oil rich. We can only sell 1.5 million barrels of crude per day. We cannot sell more than that. And compare that to the population of 230 million people. How much change can that make? Saudi Arabia is a country of about 30 million people. They sell 10 million crude every day. And a drop of it will not go missing. US sells millions of crude every day. And they are not giving anybody anything free. You pay. They pay taxes there. Even South Africa that we're talking about, your taxes in South Africa is 40%. Anybody that do formal jobs, before you get any salary there, you will first of all collect a tax number, and as soon as that money is released to your account, they remove 40%. But how many percentages are we really moving in Nigeria? And an average of us still don't pay.
But do you even think Nigerians understand this tax system? Because I remember even the man, how he was moving from one TV station to another, trying to explain to people.
People are not interested in listening.
How come he was only?
We have some insolent activists who will come to TV stations and begin to deceive people that there are some countries that everything is free. They should tell me one of such countries today where they don't pay taxes and everything is free. They should tell me one of such countries.
Do you know the argument of some Nigerians? It's not like they are not interested in paying taxes.
Okay.
But they are not really sure if they will see the effects of the taxes that they are paying.
Lagos-Ibadan Expressway, have we not seen it? Many roads that the coastal roads, are we not seeing it? The super highway, Kaduna, Sokoto, Badagry.
Beyond roads, are there other evidences?
Government is in educations that people want to get almost for free. Go and find out how much it will take you to attend universities abroad. How much they pay. Go and find out how much people pay for medicals. How people abroad who anytime they want to.
Can you compare facilities that we have over there with the ones we have?
If you don't pay tax, how do you build those facilities? How? If our economy the way it is, with our population of 230 million people, how do we solve our problem with the little money we have? People want government is giving people student loans to encourage them.
How many students have access to the loan?
Anybody that applies. Somebody in my church.
Are you aware that the process is rigorous?
I've seen people. One of my friends on social media approached me. If you want me to show you our conversations, I will show you. The students his children are in final year of in University of Abuja, and he said he doesn't have money to pay for their final year and the thing will close and they will do exams. That I should please, how I can help them. I said they should access student loan, and they took advantage of it.
Okay, let's talk about student loan.
He comes to me personally and said, federal government has cleared them, that they've paid the money. There's a woman in my church. She approached me, the children I know sue here, that they want to pay student, that they could not afford to pay the school fees of the children. That this student loan is real, that the children have applied before and they did not. I said, if they applied and they were not given, it's because their institutions did not forward their names to Abuja. If their name is forwarded to Abuja, they will be given. And I asked them to reapply, and they did, and they got it.
Okay, that is. Let me make reference to a case. It made it to the news recently. Some students, applied for the loan,
yes.
And then because of time, and then because of the deadline in their school, they had to pay their tuition fee. So later, when federal government now paid the school, the student had to go to some persons to just plead to the school authority to refund them. That tells you that the federal government could not pay the money into the account of the school.
Some
when
schools,
they were supposed to pay it.
In fact, last week when I checked, EFCC, they've asked EFCC to audit some schools. In fact, student union president make an allegations that some students are not, that some school fees that schools are charging them is more than what is required. So they are now asking EFCC to go and audit those schools.
Do you think federal government should also work on time?
Yes.
When it comes to paying this money?
Yes, I've seen a lot of people who have collected millions, and there is no perfect system. If the system seems to have some hitches, they can work on it and improve on it. But it's a very good facility for government to help people who cannot pay student loan. The school fees that Nigerians are paying, the education is too cheap. And that's one of the reasons why we expect the federal government to pay the lecturers what they pay abroad, and we expect the students not to pay almost anything.
If you say it's too cheap, are you aware that I remember there was a time University of Ibadan, for some departments they were paying up to 30,000.
My brother, and
some could not afford it.
When he traveled abroad to go and do his PhD, and he made comparison, he said the amount he pays around his school fees for his masters that he paid in UI was around $40 or $50. Is that how much people in US pay?
I don't know. Sometimes I'm a bit skeptical when people compare US, UK with, because of the system over there. We cannot compare it to.
That's the kind of country Nigerians want. An average Nigerian wants their country to be. We want our country to be like the US. Well, we don't want to pay what people in US pay. We want our country to be developed like US, like UK. But we don't want to pay taxes that those people pay.
Do we have leaders that are accountable?
I will tell you another problem today. Our problem did not start from the leaders. It started from all of us.
How?
Now election season is starting. Do you know how much people pay to get to campaign? They pay. I listened to FCC chairman last month, he said about 20 to 30 billion will be used to facilitate a governorship election. So which means it's not a small money. Who collected this money? All the people that are following politicians on election, they will collect money for about 3 or 4 months that they will be campaigning. They will pay for hotels. They will pay for shirts. They will pay for caps. They will pay for feeding. They will give them transport fare every day throughout the period of campaigns. And there are other logistics that will be taken care of that were not factored into what we are saying. And when politicians now get to power, we're now trying to say no, they should not try to make their money back. How is it possible? I've asked anybody who cares to listen.
How come winning an election is this expensive?
It's because our people are not. See, in US, in UK, how do they fund their elections? Everybody belongs to a party, and it is these people that fund political parties, not the candidate. You are not using your money to contest election in US. It is the money that people contributed for your party that you will use, so that if you lose the election, you will not lose anything.
What about the form? Because some political parties, they sell their form for presidential election now, 100 million, 50 million. Should we also address that?
Well, I wish we can address it, but then the party, the money the party, the expenses the party will incur to campaign for you is more than that. It's more than 100 million. That 100 million is just a peanut.
I mean, it's not. They are not collecting from the presidential candidate alone. There are other candidates, governorship,
yes,
Senate, and things like that.
Yes, they collect, but then they will campaign for everybody. They will print banner. They will do radio jingles. They will do, if they want to do a 1 hour program here, you know how much they will collect. It runs into millions, and that's how it is with all the big TV stations. And they will do all these campaigns every day for months. They will do all this campaign. They will do all this jingle. So where do we expect them to get the money? We need to first of all change the process that produce leaders, the process that tax them, that put heavy burden on them. If we change that process, then we can be able to demand accountability from them.
How do we change the process?
Number one, Nigerians have to support them without collecting money.
Are you talking about vote buying?
I'm not saying vote buying. I'm saying support. Support means if you want to, you believe in a candidate, you follow him to go and contest, to go and campaign without collecting money, without asking him to feed you, without asking him to clothe you. You have to do all those things free of charge, or we have to fund the parties. You belong to a party A, Y, Z, fund them, buy their souvenirs, put money into their accounts. They will use this money to campaign, so that they will not ask anybody, so that when politicians now get to power, they will not have to steal. But if somebody has to spend about 20 billion to contest election, and you expect him to get there and will not take the money back, it's a joke. Oh. We need to get serious. We need to get serious. Nothing goes for nothing, and that's the truth. We all know all these things now, but we don't want to face that reality. I've asked anybody, if you spend that kind of money, because anytime when people raise this kind of argument, I will ask them, if you spend the kind of money politicians spend to get to power, will you not make your money back? I have not seen anybody who answer me.
So is there a chance that things will change anytime? So if we say
things will change when we are all ready to make sacrifices. Things will change. Until we are ready. If you are not ready to make that sacrifices, things will not change. No magic will happen.
Okay, I think it's a fine place to leave the discussion. When we talk about change, it's not just about the politicians, it's about the people.
It's about everybody.
A big thanks to you, Olukunle Durodolu, a public affairs analyst, for being a part of today's newspaper headlines and analysis.
It's always a pleasure.
Thank you so much for coming. We need to go this morning. Thank you for being a part of today's session. My name is Oluwayemi Adelakun. I'll see you on Monday. Bye for now.